Hey, take a look at downtown, and you're looking at the Jacksonville Fair, which has invaded downtown. Good couple of weeks around here, right, with Georgia, Florida. Its own festival, and now always looks good at night, Stuart Weber, downtown looking at the fair.
Last year, I think, in that spot, because the fairgrounds is leaving, right? So that changes the fair, I would imagine. Another year.
There you go. Well, Nick jumping in with corrective
someone
news.
Someone who listens to the actual newscast instead of getting ready for sports all the time.
That's why we have him. And we're Talk Football, and that's what we're doing. We have a little special presentation here. Brent Martineau along with Stuart Weber. Coach Kevin Sullivan going to join us in just a moment. I think we're going to lead off with Colin Drass from Nice in just a moment, too. So we're going to get those guys buttoned up and on here. And by the way, Nick, it will just be the audio of Coach Drafts as well, okay? So just so you know that. But we'll have coaches join us throughout the next hour, just kind of impromptu with the bracket selection show. We figured, what the heck? This was a big night in high school football to figure out who's playing who in the playoffs. It's a bridge week, Stuart Weber. It's a weird week, right?
It feels very weird on a Friday night in November. High school football season still going on, and here we are. We're just talking about it. You know, there were so few games locally that it just kind of made sense for us, with the bracket reveal happening at 6 o'clock today from the FHSAA, to kind of get the opinions of some of the local coaches who will be competing next week in the postseason. We do, by the way, still have a Friday Night Blitz tonight at 10:30 right here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream, and then it'll be on TV as well on Fox 30 after the Fox College football game. That's at like 12:30 or midnight or 1 a.m. It's very late. So watch it on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream and then on social media. But we do have a handful of games, so I'll have highlights from Ware County game, from the Glenn Academy game, as well as Old Plank Christian Academy. We've got Liv Tasley out there covering some SSAA action, but the purpose of this hour is to talk about the FHSAA. The brackets have been revealed. We have all of our local matchups. I got them all printed out right here on a nice little sheet. So we will certainly talk about all of our local teams that will be competing in the postseason. We've got some juicy first-round matchups that we're excited about next week. And, it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of break some of these down and hear from the coaches that quick reaction, that immediate thought of, okay, now we got to get ready for blank.
All right. Well, this show's going to go fast. Let's bring in Kevin Sullivan, our Hall of Fame coach. Sully, what's happening down there in Flagler Beach? Anything get your attention when you saw the brackets? Oh, it doesn't look like he can hear us. Doesn't look like he can hear us, Nick.
Yeah, we'll keep going for a second while we get...
Hey, by the way, you got Colin Drafts on, too. If he can hear, I don't know if he's going to be able to hear us now. We've been putting out a little bit of this fire, but we thought it was because we're on location the last couple of days with guys not being able to hear us in that application that we use. So we might have just found out a bigger problem. We'll find out in a minute. You let me know when we can get Colin Drafts, and we'll okay, now Sully says he can hear us. So it was probably Sully's fault. I like to hear that.
When in doubt?
I like to hear that. Sully, was it your fault?
Hold on, we're getting there. We're battling.
Nick's battling. Hey, everybody's going to be muted, Nick. So everybody's going to have to... He's unmuted? Okay. Colin Drafts, by the way, says he is muted, but he can hear us. So let Sully figure it out. Let's get Coach Drafts on, because I don't want to keep Coach too long. I know he's got a lot of stuff. So are you ready for Coach?
Of course, Coach Drafts and the Nice Panthers finishing off a undefeated season last night. They took down Bartram Trail 56-42 to finish 9-0 on the regular season as the number one ranked team in the entire state of Florida across all classifications. So pretty cool distinction there for the Panthers to pick that up, and the way they did it, winning against another St. Johns County school. They scheduled all of them this year, with the exception of Menendez, and they beat all of them, which is really cool for Coach Drafts.
All right, well, I think Coach Drafts can hear us. Coach, thanks for jumping in with us. Congrats on the fantastic regular season. And what did you think when you saw the brackets come out?
Absolutely. Let's check to see if you guys can hear me first.
Yeah, we're good.
We got you.
We're excited about that. We might. This This is like starting with 12 men on the field on defense so far, but other than that, we're fine. So we got you now. We feel good.
Okay. Good deal. Yeah, I mean, I was tuning in live, watching the selection show. To be honest with you, I thought we were going to play Evans out of Orlando just based off of their record. But we got Tate from the Panhandle. Don't really know too much about him, but I'm already diving into the film and excited for the matchup.
Yeah, I kind of get the sense that no matter who it was, your guys were going to be excited to once again get that chance to go out there and prove themselves. Prove themselves against the other area teams from other parts of the state. I mean, you played so many teams locally. Now you get a chance against a Panhandle team, and we do know in Northeast Florida that those Panhandle teams are always tough when it comes to the postseason.
Absolutely. Like you said, a chance to prove ourselves. We've played with a chip on our shoulder all year long. Whether it's been you guys or other people betting against us, and I appreciate that. It's all in good fun, right? But regardless of who we're going to play next Friday night, we're going to be prepared to go. And Tate's obviously a good team. They've got a 7-3 record, and we've got our work cut out for us.
Hey, how healthy are you, by the way, at this time of year? That's always a big question mark.
To be honest with you, very healthy. I mean, we only have one starter down right now, which is great. We didn't benefit from the bye this week, and most teams weren't playing. But I think that it'll probably play in our favor that we had a playoff-type atmosphere last night with that Bartram game. We can kind of keep that momentum rolling in the next week.
You said it too. Listen, you got a chip on your shoulder a little bit. Guys should probably. I'm not sure how many people doubted you. I don't know if anybody expected this though. If I told you at the start of the year in August 15th, August whatever it was, and I said you're gonna be the number one team in the state and undefeated going into the postseason, I mean, would you believe me? I know you would have loved it, but would you believe me?
No, I agree with you on that. The one thing I kind of always draw back on, I don't know if it was Florida Times Union or somebody put out a poll early in the year. It was a poll for who was going to be the top team in Jacksonville, and there were 20 teams listed, and Nice wasn't on there. And, we won the district last year. We finished 7-3 and made the playoffs. So that's kind of been our rallying cry all year long, that we feel like we haven't gotten the respect that we deserved. And, whatever we need to do to motivate our guys. And here we are 9-0. And the number one ranking in the state is great, but let's be honest, it's a computer formula. I could really care less about that. We're number one in 6A, which really matters in our region, and we're going to have a home game throughout the playoffs, it looks like.
Listen, you've been an offensive guy. Your offense is brilliant, but I don't know if your defense gets enough respect, and I bet those guys feel that sometimes, right? I mean, they've come up big at times this year when you need them to, and I guess this time of year you're probably planning on them coming up big, right?
Absolutely. Our defense is the main reason that we're sitting here undefeated, to be honest with you. They've carried our team. Obviously, offense always gets a lot of credit when you score points. You got the quarterback, the running back, the receiver. But I can tell you right now, we would not be in the position we're in without our defense. They struggled a bit last night against a very good Bartram offense, but I think that's exactly what we needed. Just one final tune-up before we, hit the ground running with the playoffs, and I'm excited for what they put on the field next Friday night.
Coach, I have to end it. Our coworker Marcel Robinson asked me to ask you a question. If you could explain why some streets have sidewalks.
The question goes, why do they make sidewalks? And the answer is because the streets ain't for everybody.
I like it.
And I love the picture. You guys chose to put of me right now for everybody to see. That's classic. If I remember correctly, that was week 1 when we beat Ponte Vedra for the second time in a row and 3 times in 4 years.
Looks like it's let's go.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, congrats. Great job. You've done a heck of a job with that program, by the way, and I know you know it, and I know the people in Nice are really happy. And but now it's go time here in the month of November, and hopefully you get by round 1, and we'll be excited about the second round matchup because it will be Oakley for Mandarin, but you got to get by round 1. So we'll talk to you next week, hopefully, or in 10 days about that second round matchup. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet. That is Colin Drafts, coach of the number 1 team in the state, that of the Nice Panthers. And, man, have they been good. They've been so impressive. Been fun to watch. We had that game live between them and St. Aug, and it was really a game where, it was surprising, right? St. Aug had the lead, and they came back, and what a battle that was in the fourth quarter. And I got to feel like a win like that really propelled them to where they are now. But they've just been on a roll. And they're dangerous. They're good in a lot of areas, and they say they're healthy as well. Nick, Coach thinks he's good right now. We want to try him? No, you're not still seeing levels? Okay, well, he doesn't trust you, Sully, even though you can hear me. He's not trusting you.
I will say one of the interesting things about Nice, and we talked about their schedule. They played every team in St. Johns County except for Menendez. And the interesting thing with their playoffs, obviously they're in 6A. They don't have to play another St. Johns County team the rest of the season because they're the only one that made the playoffs in that bracket. So you don't have to worry about, okay, well, Ponte Vedra or St. Augustine or a Beachside, they're going to know what we did that first time, and they're going to be able to get us that second time. So a fresh batch of opponents. Now, you mentioned that second round opponent could be a lot of fun. We'll get to that when we get to that.
All right. We think we have Coach Donovan Maslin on right now from Rains High School, another team that had a brilliant year, undefeated regular season. Let's see if we can get Coach Maslin on now and see if he can hear us and we can hear him. Coach, do you have us?
I want to start using the camera, but
Oh, there you go. There you go. If you can just keep the audio if you want. You got us?
I can hear you well. I'm just trying to make sure I know you guys can see me.
Yeah, don't worry about the camera. We can hear you fine. We'll get we'll get a good looking picture of you up there, Coach, instead. We got backup plans on the camera side. So thanks for taking a few minutes as we kind of go around the area. And congrats on that regular season, undefeated. What does that mean to you guys? I think it was the first time Rains did that since 1997. And I think I saw somewhere else. I can't remember who tweeted it or shared it, so I apologize for not giving them credit. But I think it's the first time a Duval County school went undefeated in the regular season in something like 9 years. Did we lose Coach? You had him. Huh? All right. It looks like he's got maybe a connection that's breaking up a little bit. You got us, Coach Maslin?
I can hear you well.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're going in and out a little bit, but let's try it. Stay right where you're at. I think we can hear you a little bit better. What does the undefeated regular season mean?
Outside. It means a lot. It just means that the kids have bought into the system. They're dedicated, and it shows the commitment, throughout the season and off season, and just a testament to the work that they put in. So I'm just excited for those guys and just to see their success.
What do you know about Bay? I mean, I know this is time you see that bracket reveal and you're like, okay, it's time to go do some work. How much work did you find out in the last couple of hours?
Well, we've kind of anticipated that it was going to be Bay. So, we've already, was able to get some film on them, through YouTube and stuff like that. So, they have some great guys on the perimeter. They have tall receiver number 2. He's pretty athletic and they play great football. And they have a D tackle number 79 that's stout in the middle. So, we have our work cut out for us. We just have to come out and play disciplined football and just continue how we've been playing all season through all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Coach. We can talk about Bay all we want, but what does Rains have to do to play that Rains football and be successful here the way you guys were in the regular season?
Continue to play with a purpose. Continue to play with a mission, and be. I think this golf with no and what we wanted to do with our kids. And on Monday we were kind of scaled back and just let their body heal up a little bit. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we got after it like hard, and we did a lot of situational football. Back there, we were intentional about up 37 2-minute drill, overtime on the 10-yard line. So we put our kids in situations this week so that if it comes time in the playoff where we see that scenario, they will be ready for it mentally and physically. So it was competitive this week, and I feel good about what we'll be able to do going into next week.
Coach Donovan Maslin from Rains Vikings, Bay in the first round, and then hopefully we'll get to talk about a little bit after that would be Riverside or Escambia in that 3-6 matchup. Or do I have that right? No, Menendez.
Menendez-Wakulla, the next one down.
Menendez-Wakulla, my bad, instead. So, hey, good luck to you, Coach. We appreciate you taking a few minutes tonight, and we'll be watching you next Friday night.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
All right, that is Coach Maslin. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll get Sully on. So, hey, this is the best part of Sully. We can't hear him. Thanks.
I can hear him very well.
Yeah, I know. I think you're probably hearing him on the application that we have. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Derek Cipoletti coming up next here in just a little bit. If we get a chance, I know we're still working on Sully. He says it's the director muted it something thing. Nick, he's unmuted now. You think we got him? Okay. Once we get him in, too, let's make sure we get that. Let's get the brackets up.
Yeah.
Here in the next couple minutes. I know you've been working through some fires there, Nick, so we appreciate you. Sully, we got you now.
I don't know. Do you have me?
Yeah.
Hey,
Sully.
Hey, Sully, you're only getting 45 minutes worth of pay today.
Oh, man. Not again.
I don't know, man. Listen, so far I've been very impressed. We're 2 for 2 getting Colin Drass and Coach Maslin, and obviously he had a little breakup in his connection, but we were able to make this work. I didn't know you were going to be the problem, Sully.
I don't know, man. You told me to go on, and I come on. It might have been your guys' end.
It might have been. Who knows? We'll blame everything on Nick. Poor Nick. Hey, what do you think of these brackets so far? What was your takeaway when you looked at them?
Well, I think it's pretty good. The only one I'm a little concerned about was 5A, because Fleming's the 6 seed, and they beat the 4 and the 5 seed. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand that one.
Yeah, just the way those kind of points shake out. Fleming Island's got to go on the road at 3-seed Mosley. Meanwhile, 5th-seeded Beachside goes to 4th-seeded Ponte Vedra. As you mentioned, a couple teams the Golden Eagles did beat this year. So, hey, if they keep winning and so do the other teams, they can go do it again, right? And try to win a regional final if they get to that third round of the playoffs and meet one of those teams again. I do like the regions like that one where it's just stacked with local teams for us. You also have Middleburg on the road at Niceville in the opening round of that region. So I like it when at least half of a region is local teams for us, and then we could just hope to see them all duke it out against each other.
Yeah, I like it too, but I don't like the Oakleaf Mandarin first round game in 6A.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have moved Oakleaf to 6 and moved OV. I just think playing your district in the first round to me is not advantageous.
Yeah.
I just don't like that.
That's tough. What show are you watching, Coach?
Well, I'm not watching anything. I don't have anything on.
Oh, I thought that was you. We got Coach Cipoletti in. How about that? We got check that out, Nick. We might have Coach Cipoletti from Fleming Island. He's checking in here in just a minute or so as well. So hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that Fleming Island one. Hey, how about we had Colin Drass on, Sully. Nice, number 1 in the state. I mean, they did it. I mean, they were able to take care of business each and every week. Did it again last night.
Yeah, and I like the coach talk about, nobody believed in them and nobody think they could do anything, but tremendous year for them. Great job. I hope they can keep it going and keep rolling. The one thing you don't want to do is go 10-0, 9-0, and then get beat in the first round.
Yeah. Obviously, that's I mean, you don't want to get beat. You're going to make a run for it, right, throughout the whole thing. But that's a tough spot. You got a big target, Stuart. I mean, big target on their back now. Like, you don't sneak up on anybody. I'm not sure people believed even halfway through how good Nice was. Well, when you go undefeated and you're number 1 in the state, now everybody knows.
Yeah, now when you get that number next to your name in the bracket, it's hard to hide, right, as that 1 seed. But the good thing about the 1 seed is that no matter what, those first 3 rounds are coming to you.
Yeah, true.
As that 1 seed, if you're a district champion, I should say, because Providence is a 1 seed and they're on the road because they lost their district title game. So if you're that 1 seed and you won the district title, the first 3 games at least are coming to you, and that's a huge advantage this time of year.
And what about the other one? Just we won't have Coach McIntyre on today, but I know they're happy down at Creekside. They got a home game, Sully. First one ever,
Right.
I think, at Creekside. So I think that's a dangerous club, right?
Yeah, I think so. I talked to him last night. We went and watched FPC because he thought if FPC won and then Boone won that they would get FPC, but Boone lost. But so I sat up with him in the stands last night. But I mean, they're excited. They won the district first time school history. They get a home playoff game. They got a tough sled, but I mean, you're going to have to beat everybody anyway. So I know he's excited, and their kids are going to be excited.
Keep going down this bracket, and we look at Middleburg and Niceville. Middleburg, again, strength of schedule-wise, hasn't been good. When they've played people of their own ilk, they've been very good this year. It's been a nice year for Coach Wolf out there. When they played kind of stepped up in competition, it hasn't gone so well. I think this one's going to be tough, right? Niceville's always good, Coach.
Yeah, they're going to be really good, and you got to go to the Panhandle anyway, so that's going to be really tough on them. But, hey, they're in. They've been in a couple years in a row, and Coach Wolf's building it a little bit. And as it keeps going, he'll increase that schedule, and they'll be ready to go down the road.
Yeah, when you talk about some of the bubble teams, Middleburg certainly was one of those teams that kind of had to wait till the last week to figure out whether they would make it in. They make it in as an 8 seed, buoyed by the fact that they beat North Marion in their final game last week. So clutch victory over a solid team out in the Ocala area. They go and get that win. I mean, other bubble teams, Impact Christian gets in as they move up to a 5 seed because they had a huge game last night against Episcopal, who was on the outside looking in at that 9 seed. So they needed that win in order to get in. They didn't get it, and they do fall short as PK Young gets the final kind of spot in that region. So, a lot of the bubble teams did what they needed to do. They got in. Baldwin, who lost in their regular season finale, still got in as the 8, and sometimes that'll happen as well. So, really interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones in there. I know you were excited about that Beachside Ponte Vedra game when you saw that, Stuart.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, Beachside is out there trying to prove itself, right? They're a young program, but they're a talented program, and Coach Duffy has done a terrific job whipping them into shape, and he's a heck of a coach. So they'll have their hands full with Steve Price's squad out at Ponte Vedra, but Sharks and Barracuda, an aquatic battle on Friday night in the Shark Tank. That'll be fun.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one. You like that one, Coach?
Yeah, aquatic battle. I like that.
Listen, it's crazy to think like who is where are you taking us? By the way, Sully, where are we going throughout your house?
Sorry, I'm in the back now. I got thrown out in the back room.
We're going all through the house. That's
the 3A region's interesting too to me with the rains. I like the Baker County, Bishop Kenny, and Godby. That's a good 4-3-14 bracket down there. So
I feel like many years in a row, we always end up with that Baker County Bishop Kenny, at least until the last 2 years when we hit that suburban metro experiment for 2 years. But before that, I feel like those two teams would meet every year in the postseason, Baker and Bishop Kenny, and usually in the same district, if I remember correctly. So cool to kind of have that rivalry renewed down by the river. That'll be a lot of fun to see the Wildcats come on and down to Jacksonville and take on Bishop Kenny.
Most definitely.
That's a team that we have been interested in all year, right? Bishop Kenny, and trying to figure out which Bishop Kenny team we're going to get. But hey, they make it in, and they've even Baker County's been a little interesting at times this year, right, Coach?
Yeah, we talked about last week were we going to get good Bishop Kenny or bad Bishop Kenny, and then Baker's have sort of been the same. They played a good schedule week in, week out. And, they played hard. They took Godby and almost beat Godby on the road, and they may get a rematch of that. So, I think that's an interesting region.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So there's a lot of those going on. Brent Martineau along with Stuart Weber, our head coach Kevin Sullivan, and we're already talked to Donovan Maslin from Rains and Colin Drafts from Nice, number 1 team in the state. And we're looking to try to get in touch with Derek Cipoletti right now from Fleming Island. They've had a fun year as well. Well, it didn't start so fun, but it's finishing fun because they're playing really good football with the Golden Eagles. And I think we got Coach Chipoletti right now. Coach, can you hear us?
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Good. Thanks for making it work and taking a few minutes with us. Man, you guys are playing some really good ball right now. You feel the same way?
Yeah, I'm happy with where we're at. We last couple of games we've been doing good taking care of the ball on offense. We haven't had any turnovers in the last game. So that's always the recipe for success. And then defensively pretty well too.
Yeah, and you guys got some weapons, of course, and it's led by your quarterback, call him the Worm, Sebastian Broughton. But we've been watching this guy for a while. You get that kind of experience, Coach. There's nothing like that this time of year, I wouldn't believe.
Yeah, he's been a for a long time now. Like I said earlier, he's taking care of the ball, making better decisions, and he's always been a dynamic. So he's been improving. Here, we've been very excited.
Sully, take it away. What do you got for Coach Chip?
Hey, Coach Chip, it's been a while since we talked face to face.
I know.
But listen, I got to tell you, man, being able to take over and doing what you guys have done, you started 1-2, and then down the stretch, you guys have played really well. You let the Creekside game get away from you, but I'm telling you, I'm really impressed with that. Tell me, who have been the kids that have really stepped up on your side?
I think we've got very good leadership. I mean, they've been adversity. They've had multiple head coaches, 4 years of the school. It is a West Point commit that we have, stand-up kid, ball player. We've got Sebastian Cruz in the back of the field. Is a Division I type player, very, very good athlete, very good kid. David Smith, linebacker. Those are some of our defensive. Just a slew of seniors that have been really taking the program and providing good leadership. And have to be pretty good football players. Just had to put some things together. Again, the ball early on. You mentioned the 2 losses early in the year, and played a very good River team. We were breaking in a young defensive backfield, going some of the best receivers in the out of Rivers. So we had to grow up a little bit on defense. We put against Riverside, Oakleaf, everyone ball team, and pull that running back gave us some problems. Foy, I think we're together at the right time.
Yeah, and Coach, I think what I see when I look at your schedule is the 3 losses you have: Riverside, Oakleaf, Creekside, all playoff teams, all games that were close down to the end. So I feel like from a coaching staff perspective, all lessons that you were able to teach the guys and take something away from those games, maybe more than you're taking from a 42-6 or a 45-0 win. You can probably get a more for this time of year from those 3-point losses.
Yeah, I was learning well. I mean, I was helping on the defense a little bit last year, but I had to learn all team, and they had to learn. I all the time. I'm not to lose the same way twice. So those were really learning lessons. We had some things happen against River. We got those fixed. We gave up 2 long kickoff touchdown, and then one game hurt us. We got our kickoff. Knock on wood. We got the season. That didn't happen. We've taken our harp on taking care of the ball better. That's a big thing. We really concentrated on ball security, responded to it. Defensively, we had most of our. We probably weren't utilizing enough different colors. Creekside took it there, so we learned from each of those and made adjustments. Hopefully, that'll be enough playoffs and for playoff run. Now we really a beast. We're going to be heading out to Mosley. This is the first round, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm confident our kids will.
Derek Chipoletti from Fleming Island. We're going to let you go in a minute, but before we do that, I want you to comment on our Committed to the Uncommitted presented by Nimnik Buick GMC. This is a scholarship program, Coach. We started a few years back coming out of the pandemic for under-recruited kids, and I know Sully talked to you a little bit today about a young man named Stephen Franklin, offensive lineman for you guys, 6'4", 280-pound guy. Can you tell us a little bit about him and how we can maybe get his name out there a little bit for coaches and playing at the next level?
Yeah, he's a great athlete. Got everything you want him to be. Big, athletic. He's twitchy. He's got big. And on the football field, he's got a little streak. You'll see some highlights. I see you got pulled up. I mean, he's trying to get. Does a good job. Sully knows not a teacher anymore. Not an I got pulled out of the to take this job, and I pulled my partner into it as well. Not happy with me, but Nettles, who's one of the coaches in the state of Florida. And long story, kid, his came to Coach Nettles' coach really improved over this. So we're going to be working with him, making sure his transcripts where it needs to be. His test scores. He's going to be a find, somebody.
I appreciate your words on him, and again, we'll hopefully push out his name quite a bit here over the next, a little bit here today, but also on social media. And I know Sully's got those connections in the college game too. Sully was so excited about him right before you started talking about him, he flipped out and lost his camera here on the show.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties today.
Yeah, you're not the only one, Sully. Don't worry, man. We're just throwing this thing together. It's okay. It's nice and loose. Have some fun. Sully, you like those big offensive linemen. We don't get a lot of the offensive linemen on Committed to the Uncommitted because they always get scooped up. They're like left-handed pitchers sometimes.
Yeah, nobody loves the offensive lineman unless it's the offensive line coach. And, I coach offensive line for 20 years, so I love them guys. And so I'm always looking for them and D linemen because everybody's got the skill guys, the DBs, the wideouts, the quarterback, but nobody cares about the O-linemen, so I want to love on them.
Good stuff. That's Stephen Franklin, 6'4", 280 pounds out of Fleming Island. Coach Chipoletti, thanks, man. Appreciate you jumping in on a Friday night that you had off, and enjoy the weekend, and good luck next week.
Hey, thank y'all for coverage. Thank y'all for high school football. Appreciate it.
You bet, man. Have a good one. We're looking forward to seeing you guys play. Hey, good stuff from Derek Chipoletti. I think he was going in and out a little bit, but I think we got most of it.
If every other play is good in a football game, you're usually feeling pretty good about it, right?
Yeah,
So,
the word.
Parallels here.
Hey, Sully, you're going to like watching this one back. Hey,
Stewart's on fire tonight.
Hey, here's the deal. I'm going to work on trying to get Brian Braddock in before the 9 o'clock hour. We do have Coach Johnson from Ed White planning on joining us in a little bit. But, Nick, I know you've been going through the battles here. If we can get the brackets up and Sully and Stewart can talk about those a little bit and maybe each classification and what we have, because we got some really cool matchups. Whatever one you throw up there, man, just throw up any one and these guys will go. So go ahead, Weber, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool how we're able to just kind of jump right into this. Let's hop into 5A. I mean, we just talked to Coach Chip with Fleming Island, and they have to go on the road to Mosley. Ponte Vedra at home against Beachside. And what's really wild to me, Coach, look at that 7 seed. That's the defending state champion, the Mainland Bucks. I mean, they had their ups and downs for sure this year, having to lose their head coach. I think they were winless when they came up and played Rains earlier in the year. But I don't want to play Mainland no matter where they are in the bracket.
Yeah, and that's a good point. They started 0-4, and they finished the season at 5-5 and beat DeLand and beat some really good teams on their way and won the district. So, you had a bunch of changes. They lost some kids, and Coach hung in there and did a good job and kept them focused and got the wins when they needed to, and they get in as a 7th seed. They're as dangerous as anybody right now.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a camera at that Beachside Ponte Vedra game here next week. So looking forward to that side of the planning.
See if we can get what's one is 4A1, Nick, maybe for Ed White. If we can get to that region when you get a chance, because then we're going to get Lawrence Johnson from Ed White in, so we can talk about his game a little bit, and then we'll get Coach on momentarily.
Yeah, 4A Region 1.
Region 1, Nick.
And remember, we were talking a little earlier about how I like the ones that are, stacked with local teams. Well, look at that. If you're wondering, the ones that are colored are the local teams. So, we try to give it a little pop.
I figured that out.
A little pop with the logos. Those are the local teams. For those at home who might not might not pick up on it quite so quickly. Also, I had to use the abbreviated version for Choctaw Hatchie because Choctaw Hatchie wouldn't fit in that little spot. I'd have to squeeze it in. I didn't want to do it. So you look at this bracket. I mean, Columbia St. Augustine is another one, kind of like that Baker County Bishop Kenny thing, where these two teams used to play a ton in either district play or in the playoffs. So they get that rivalry renewed. Columbia, another bubble team that goes and wins in the final week of the season. They beat North Miami Beach pretty handily. And so now they get a trip to St. Augustine to take on Coach what is a really good St. Augustine squad.
Yeah, that bracket that's some big time football players and football programs in 4A. And whoever comes out of Region 1 has got a chance because that is a good region, really good high school football teams.
Yeah, you're battle-tested. And speaking of a guy that's battle-tested, let's bring in Lawrence Johnson from Ed White, the Commanders' head coach right now, here on this special bracket show with Action Sports Jax 24/7 and our Friday night Blitz coverage as well. Brent Martineau along with Stuart Weber and Kevin Sullivan. And Coach Johnson, thanks for jumping in for a few minutes. You're looking good. Hopefully you can hear us and we can hear you. But what did you think when that bracket was released?
I was excited. I was happy that we didn't have to go to Pensacola. So, I've made that trip before, and it's not the most fun. So,
yeah, I was going to say that trip when you got to do that, you're on the phone getting buses and everything else, right?
Yeah, yep. So it's always good to be able to play at home, especially if you can avoid a 6-hour drive and save some money.
Sully just said this. That is a good region, right? I mean, do you agree with him that if you come out of that one, you're going to be able to compete with anybody in the state?
Yeah, we got some of the best teams. I mean, St. Augustine went to a state championship last year. Those Panhandle teams are always very tough. Riverside, another very tough athletic team. So it's a real tough region, and whoever comes out and is one of those Final Four really has a shot to win it.
You mentioned that Riverside game, obviously huge for the fact that you win the district title. And because of that, even though you're technically the 5 seed, you get to host that game against the 4 seed Pine Forest. That's a big part of winning over Riverside, but also putting your players through that test, right? That moment. Are you going to rise to the occasion in the final 15 seconds of the game and go score a touchdown to win? How huge was that game, not only for the seeding purposes, but also just for showcasing what these guys can do?
It was huge because we have a lot of young guys playing on both sides of the ball, and some of those plays they didn't make early in the season, and we had a chance against both Trinity Christian and Merritt Island, and we lost 2 really close games. So it was good to see those guys grow up a little bit and make plays at the end of the game.
Billy, what do you got?
Coach, what about your unsung guy? Who's your unsung guy that's been playing so well that nobody really knows? He just goes out and does his job.
That's Javon Johnson. He's a big defensive lineman for us. He's a great inside presence. Does a good job of getting after the quarterback. He made a lot of plays in the backfield in the run game, and he kind of just leads our defense. He's a senior for us, and we can count on him doing the right thing. Just a great kid, and really just needs an opportunity so he can make plays for somebody else at the next level.
Well, and you led us right into it. Our Committed to the Uncommitted, presented by Nimnik Buick GMC, part of our program. We're actually highlighting a couple of kids here on this special show tonight, and Javon is one of those. Tell me a little bit more about him. Just tell us, listen, you can see the huddle film, right? And college coaches can do that, but maybe a little bit more about who he is and the character and why you love coaching him.
Well, he's a hard worker, and one of the good things about him is he's a leader, so just a natural leader. So all of the players tend to follow him. So when he works hard, he can get the rest of the guys going at practice. And then the same thing in the game. When we need to make a play, he kind of provides the energy for the defense and gets those guys going. And they just follow him, and he has a chance to really make a lot of plays for us in the playoffs and hopefully again at the next level. I mean, just a great kid all around.
And do me a favor, too, because Committed to the Uncommitted was born a few years ago, and I think Isaiah Teal was our first winner from Ed White High School, won a $2,500 scholarship courtesy of Nimnik Buick GMC. We had a big presentation. He had been injured that year, and he's gone on to college and done some nice things. Give us an update on Isaiah, if you would.
Isaiah is doing great. As a freshman, he actually won the CIAA Player of the Year in their conference for freshmen. So he's the freshman of the year in their conference. He's had a great year that first year, and he's doing pretty good again his sophomore year. So I'm expecting him to have a really good career up there at Bluefield State.
Coach, we'll bring it back to this upcoming Friday night. 1 week from now, you guys get it going with Pine Forest. How quickly will you guys break that film down? Have you already had somebody on the advanced team getting after that Pine Forest video? What's the next 7 days look like for you guys?
Well, we're getting into it right away, and fortunately, I was able to kind of predict that we would be playing Pine Forest. So I've actually been looking at them for the last week and this week, and really we were just preparing, not knowing whether we'd be playing them or not, but it worked out for us, so it looks like we got a little bit of a head start on them. So we'll get their last 2 games, and we'll dig into that and try to get our guys ready to play.
One last one for you, or at least maybe Sully can jump in if he wants another one too. But Sully, you can talk about this. How much do you sleep in the playoffs, like the night before the playoffs? Probably not much as a coach, I got to believe. Or is that just the same as any time in the regular season too?
I think it's the same anytime. But like now, once you get in the playoffs, the kids all know it's got to survive in advance. You know, you got to play, and if not, it's over and done with. So actually, to me, it's a little less pressure in the playoffs because you've gotten there and you're ready to go. Now you want to get a win and just keep playing. And hey, the goal is to practice next Monday, this Monday, next Monday, and the next Monday.
Yeah, Coach Johnson, you going to be a good sleeper or what?
No, I don't. I already don't sleep, so. I'll be up all night watching Pine Forest, and I'll probably spend the whole day Saturday. I won't get much college football in tomorrow or NFL, and on Sunday we've got to come up with a good plan to be able to slow them down and hopefully be able to get in the end zone against them too, so we can get this win.
I haven't been missing much on Sundays if you don't get anything. Hey, one last one for you, just to piggyback off what you guys just said. Because it's this time of year, Coach Johnson, this is the easiest time to coach in a way, right? You got ears are up. I mean, these guys are all in, right?
They are. So they know, especially for the seniors, that at any given Friday can be their last opportunity to play. And I've been preaching to them, like, you never know what's going to happen. For many of them, it's going to be their last time ever playing football. And for the lucky ones, they'll have an opportunity to go to the next level. So I know they're going to be fired up. I know they're going to play hard, and they're going to fight to keep getting the opportunity to continue playing.
Coach Johnson, appreciate you taking a few minutes here on a Friday night. Back-to-back Friday nights. Maybe we'll join you, talk to you again next week, but hopefully after a win.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, man. Coach Lawrence Johnson from Ed White, and they continue to play good ball there. We've been talking about that all season long, so good to get him on. I like the honesty there. He won't be sleeping much getting ready for this football. What a fun time of year it's going to be. And, Sully, we were saying this today, Stuart and I, it's kind of a weird week. Right, I mean, we're kind of used to going right into this thing, and this bridge of time. Bowles hasn't played in a couple of weeks. I mean, they got all this time to prepare. We talked to Coach Johnson last week on the Friday Night Zone Blitz, and he kind of knew he was already in. And you got this. He had played on Thursday night, right, because of the Florida Georgia game. It's just sometimes there's too much time to kill, right?
Yeah, but this time of year, especially if you've played a good schedule, the week comes in and helps you. And we talked about it last week. Some guys that are rolling don't want no break. They want to just keep on going the next week. And some guys are like, yeah, we could use this week, get back, heal up, get our guys back to some fundamental stuff that you sort of get away from. And now you make the run and try to get it done.
All right, looks like we got Brian Braddock coming in from St. Augustine in just a moment. Nick, you give me thumbs up when you think we're ready to go with Coach Braddock as we continue to go through all these different brackets and games and matchups. Have we left anything out, Stuart Weber, so far?
I'm actually I'm actually checking some of the scores from tonight right now. I'm a little locked in. We got games all over the place, but we've done 5A, we've done 4A. We definitely talked about 3A quite a bit there as well. 2A and 1A, I think we'll certainly get to here in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll do that. And right now, I think we do have Coach Braddock in. So let's go down to St. Augustine and appreciate him jumping in on a Friday night, kind of on late notice. He was able to answer the bell. And Coach Braddock, you got the Columbia Tigers first round game and two real proud programs in this matchup.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Obviously, a team that we've already played. And, so that's new for me. But Columbia, St. Augustine in the playoffs, I guess that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that is the way it's supposed to be. Did you already kind of do the math and know that? I mean, I know you're a math guy.
We had an idea that it would probably be them. Last week, looking at it, we knew Rickards might get beat, and we knew Columbia would likely win. So it's not too surprising that they ended up as the 8.
Before I let Sully jump in here, how much does last year's experience help this group? I mean, got a lot of guys back, a lot of guys that have played in it, and I guess that's almost like a two-parter. One, you're used to it, you know what it's like, there's no surprises, but two, how hungry is this football team coming off last year, even though this is a new season? If Coach Braddock can hear us, I think he's breaking up on us. So maybe if he takes a few steps one way or another, we might be able to get.
It takes. So we'll focus on that.
We got you now. Good.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. We got you.
Yeah. So that experience certainly is beneficial, but we can feel like we're entitled to just depend on that and think because we had success a year ago that we'll have it again. And our kids know that, so we're just excited for another shot at it.
Sully, what you got?
Hey, Brian, do you think that you like playing a team the second time, or would you rather be playing somebody new? I mean, I know you're happy to be in and all that stuff, but as far as playing the district challenger, do you like that or do you don't like it?
Truthfully, I'd rather play somebody we haven't already played. I think when our offense takes the field and we play with the pace we have, I think it sometimes shocks people's systems a little bit. But we're not going to put much stock in that first game with Columbia. The outer bands from Hurricane Helene were already getting here. It was a monsoon. It was their quarterback's first start of the season. So it was a weird night. And, they're a new team now compared to what they were then. So we'll just treat it like we're playing a really good football team in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I remember the video from that one coming in from our Gainesville affiliate. It was just wet. It was very wet. I remember seeing the video.
Ugly.
Yeah, it looked like it, and I didn't even have to go out in it, so that was great. Coach, if you can kind of speak to the high quality of football in St. Johns County this year. Luckily, as I look back down at it, you don't have to face any of them the rest of the way, right? None of them are in your classification, which is great. But you talk about St. Augustine as a 1 seed in its region, Nice as a 1 seed in its region, Creekside wins the district title, they get a home game, Beachside into the playoffs, you get them in there. Heck, Menendez had a great late season surge under Coach Rivers, and Ponte Vedra gets a home game in the postseason as well. St. Johns County just had a terrific season, and so many of you guys played each other as well, so you got a good chance to kind of see some of these teams throughout the course of the year.
No doubt. It's just a testament to the quality of the programs and the coaching staffs in this county and the support they get from administration and the community. Actually just had dinner with Coach McIntyre, and I know Creekside's excited to host their first playoff game in school history. So that's really cool. But all those teams you just mentioned, really good football teams. And when you add into the mix Bartram Trail and Tocoi Creek, I mean, those are good football teams.
Yeah, just
so everybody in our county is a quality football program.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. By the way, Coach, when you were playing and coaching early days with Joey Wiles, and where doesn't all that friction there in St. Johns County? I mean, it was like you and Nice, I think, if I remember correctly. Unless Sully has another one, I'll leave you with this. How much did that Nice loss help you, or did it?
You know, I can't speak too highly of how our kids responded when we went on the road to Columbia the following Wednesday, especially our quarterback, Lachlan Hewlett, to go out and just carve them up in the rain the way he did was so impressive after a very frustrating half of football for us. You know, certainly we wish we could have that half back, but that's in the rearview mirror now. We learned a lot from it, and I think we're better for it. And we're excited now to try to take this thing as far as we can. And, you know, we've talked about it this week. It's now the time of year where it's every week is your entire season. And from a football perspective, nothing else matters than the current opponent and the next Friday night. So we've got a lot of kids who've lived through that for a couple of years now, and we're excited to give it another shot.
You got burning the shoes next week, or you already do it?
Burning of the shoes will be Thursday evening at the St. Augustine High School practice field. 29 seniors, an incredible group, the best group I've ever had as a head coach, and it'll be a special evening.
Yeah, it always is a terrific tradition.
Both of us have had a chance to attend that over the years, and it is just such a cool tradition in our area. For sure.
Very good. All right, Coach Brian Braddock, thanks for jumping in on an off Friday night. We appreciate you taking a few minutes away from the family. Good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for your coverage and attention to all the awesome things these kids do. So thanks, guys.
You bet. That is Brian Braddock, one of the best. And by the way, our Jaguars prep, Whataburger Friday Night Blitz Coach of the Year a year ago. Visited the Super Bowl.
Sad part is I don't think he can win again and go back to the Super Bowl this year.
I hope he
I don't know if we do back to back when Super Bowl tickets might be on the line.
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, I also don't know if Super Bowl tickets are on the line every year.
I don't know because like the fan of the year gets it every year, right? Like they surprise the fan of the year, and then it's like here's this ticket that we've given to every fan of the year over the last 5 years, so probably a good precedent. Well, we've got a couple in a row now.
Coach Foy won.
Couple in a row now on the coaches' side as well.
Coach Foy and Coach Braddock. So maybe I don't know that. I don't want to promise that.
I don't know either. You know,
Sully, there's some good candidates though.
Yeah, actually
Maslin,
think about that. Yeah,
Colin Drafts, Braddock. Jamie Rogers. There's some really good candidates this year.
Chipoletti.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. I mean, really, there's a lot. Yeah. You really go up and down the list.
This brain trust you're looking at on screen is going to have a hard time with this
yes.
one. We're going to have a really hard. It's going to be really hard. It is.
It is.
It is.
The Coach of the Year might be harder than the Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Although I think that's going to be pretty tricky too. Yeah. So that's interesting. Coach Braddock brought up Hewlett. Remember we were watching that game,
yes.
Sully, and he had a rough second half. That was out of sorts for a young man who's a very good football player. And, hey, that happens. It's sports. And so it was interesting to hear Coach Braddock say that he was able to bounce back, and he's played, obviously, a lot better football. And they've really hit a groove. Their offense was fine in that game for the most part. They ended up scoring, I think, 34 points in that game, if I remember the finals, like 35-34 or something. But still, that was pretty noteworthy that he did struggle down the stretch. I think there was a big interception in that game when we were watching it live on the Friday Night Zone Blitz, and then he bounces back. The bounce back is what it's all about, right? When you're talking about any kind of sport, but especially young kids.
Yeah, nobody likes to lose, but that might have been a good loss for them because I think they've really tightened up a little bit, come back, and really played tremendous the last 5 games or so. And I think it wakes them up. You keep rolling through everybody and rolling through. They're high school kids, man. They believe the hype. They believe the press clippings. Like Corky Rogers used to said, publicity's like poison. If you don't swallow it, can't hurt you.
That's great. That's a good line. I haven't heard you mention that one much. That's a good one.
I heard the one recently. It's like perfume. You can sniff it. You can put a little bit on you, but don't drink it. It's not good if you drink the thing.
I don't think that is good. Hey, Nick, you're doing a great job, man, today. Nick in the hot seat over there.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can take a breath, Nick, but also let's throw up some other brackets if you don't mind. I know we've seen 3 and 4 and 5, I think we've seen, or maybe we just saw 4 and 5. Let's just take a look at all of them. How about that? Let's go to 7. We'll start with 7, and we'll go all the way down. We got like 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So let's get everybody's thoughts and Sully's thoughts on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, even now, if you just want to, since it's just us talking, if you want to go to one of the 3 boxes with 3 of them on there at once, you're welcome to do that as well on a full screen.
Dealer's choice is what we call this, Nick. Dealer's choice.
Best bet.
Well, I might not have put it in a place you could get it. So, yeah, go ahead and put up one bracket. Never mind. My bad. Yeah, let's start with 7A, shall we? There you go.
There is 7A. Okay, and obviously our only local team is Seminole. Coach, do you know how good Seminole is this year? They're usually obviously pretty darn good, and they're the number 2 seed, so I suspect they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I talked to Coach Mack earlier today, and he's like, hey, we got Seminole. I go, hey, man, you got a chance to make a name for yourself. You won the district, nothing to lose. They're coming to you. Just have fun and enjoy it.
Hey, so this is what you like, right, Sully? They win the district, meaning Creekside. They get to host even though they're the lower seed, so it carries weight to win the district.
Yes, I think that's what it should happen. And I know people don't want to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds, and I understand that. But if you win the district, you should host.
Remember, by the way,
the weird thing, though, is that sometimes it's just about getting lucky and being the right seed. Like if you're the 6 seed and you won the district, but the 3 seed also won their district, well, then you got to go on the road as a district champ. So it's a little bit of getting lucky when it comes to the seeding as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Hey, and Mandarin went through a bunch of these teams on the road last year, remember, en route to that state championship game. Creekside, hopefully they're getting healthier. Coach, did Max say anything about that today? Are they pretty healthy or as healthy as they're going to be?
Yeah, he said that everybody's been good. They gave a Monday off and had really good Tuesday and Wednesday, and really felt good about what they're doing, and the kids are excited. And so, they've played good people week in and week out, so they're going to be battle tested, and Seminole's not going to give them anything they haven't seen.
Yeah, it continues to check the boxes down there. Sean McIntyre does a terrific job turning around that program and now built a program. Now every year it feels like they're going to be in the mix down there in St. Johns County. All right, let's see 6A if we can, Nick. We're going to start rolling through some of these. I know we already saw 5 and 4 quite a bit, so we can get through those quicker, but we'll start with 6 or whatever you throw up there. You want to go 1? Go 1.
Let's do it. Oh,
that's good. Perfect. Take us
there.
through it, Weber.
Yeah, so 1A, we mentioned Providence is that weird 1 seed, right? They're the 1 seed in the region, but they got to go on the road to Ocala Trinity Catholic because they lost that game against University Christian in the district title game. So UC is a district champ. They get to be at home and host Impact Christian, who I had a chance to see in action last night. They got the big win over Episcopal. Impact is an interesting team because, overall, then they bust out an 85-yard touchdown. Overall, then they bust out a 65-yard touchdown. So they got that big play potential, right? And certainly have that opportunity. And then, hey, who's that lurking?
The Jags defense.
Yeah, who's that lurking at the bottom of that Region 1? There's Trinity Christian.
Yeah, that's a sleepy team, Sully,
Sleepy,
isn't it?
man. I tell you, that might be his best coaching job in the last 10 years, Berlin Dormany. We haven't talked about it much. They struggled early, but boy, they put it together down the stretch.
I had to kind of modify my brackets for the big wall, and I wanted to get Coach Rip on there. So I added in the one matchup there for Crescent City. They are a 7 seed, but a district champ, so they get to host Lakeland Christian. We'll be keeping an eye on them. Hopefully they get, you get to those state semifinals. Maybe they can play somebody from Region 1 for us. Maybe come up here. That'd be great.
Right.
Explain, by the way, the rural and why there's bigger numbers.
Correct. So rural classification, there's, I want to say 30 teams in the state that are in the rural classification. They ranked all of them, took the top 16, and then made a 16-team bracket. Okay. So that's a traditional 16-team bracket like you would normally expect, and they ranked them 1 to 16. So 1 plays 16 all the way down to, as you could see, Union County's a 3 seed. They're hosting the 14. Fort White, hoping to pull that NCAA March Madness action and be the 12 that beats the 5. You get a lot of those 12-over-5 upsets there.
All right, we got to roll through this 6A real quick. We already saw 5 and 4, so we're not worried about that. But there's Nice and that Oakleaf Mandarin matchup
looming.
We've talked all about it, but hopefully Nice wins. We're going to get a good second round matchup, Sully.
Yeah, we're going to get a local matchup, and Nice has been battle tested. Mandarin's been battle tested. Oakleaf's been battle tested. So, I mean, I'll tell you what, that Oakleaf Mandarin, I know Oakleaf's been wanting to play Mandarin again. So they're going to get their wish. And then Nice hopefully takes care of business. And, man, that's going to be, again, look at those teams. Those are traditional state powers from 1 to 7, year in and year out.
Absolutely. Buchholz, a dangerous team there in 6A Region 1. You have anything else you want to throw up there, Nick? Go ahead.
Yep.
Go to 3 and
That's it.
4. That's perfect. We already saw 4. We talked a bunch about it, but
Yep.
there's 3 with Reigns and then a possible second-round matchup, Stuart, with Menendez.
Yeah, and Menendez, as mentioned, has really picked it up the latter half of the season. Baker County Bishop Kenny is going to be a lot of fun, and Sewanee Godby, good matchup there on the bottom half of the bracket too. So excited to see 3A and 4A action, and I think the only one we haven't hit is 2A. And, if Nick pops it up, great. If not, I can tell it to you. Baldwin's on the road at their top seed, Gadsden County. Bowles is really going to be the team we're watching on one region because they're the 3 seed in the other region. This is Region 2, where Bradford is the 2 seed. So what's wild is Bradford's the 2. They lost the district title to Newberry, who's that 3.
Wow.
So they'll get a chance at revenge in the second round, assuming both teams, the higher seeds, get the job done.
Sully, Bradford, can they make another run?
Yeah, I think they can, and I think that Newberry-Bradford game will be a big game in a couple of weeks. And then down the road, Cocoa, defending state champion.
Yeah, Cocoa.
And, so whoever comes out of that, if Bradford or Cocoa, woo.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Sully, man, great job. Thanks for hanging in with us tonight. Another edition of the Friday Night Zone Blitz, but it's only a part-time night for you. We're out of here. Just 1 hour in. That's it.
You can just watch the show like everybody else tonight at 10:30 right here on the network.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.
Nice job by our coach, Kevin Sullivan, our Hall of Fame coach. Does a great job with all the high school football coverage. Big help in our Committed to the Uncommitted presented by Nimick Buick GMC. By the way, nice job by Stuart Weber, best graphics in the biz in the state of Florida when it comes to high school football. Nobody does it better. So they look really good. Yeah. And Nick, way to go, man. Nick just came in. We called him in, said, hey, you want to do this? He said, yeah. And now he probably regrets it.
No, I tried my best. That was a fun show.
That was good. Good.
It was fun, man. Putting out the fires. All right. Hey, we got the Friday Night Blitz coming up 10:30 on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Yep, right here.
You won't see it on Fox 30 until after the football game if you're up way, way late. We do have an 11:15 edition on CBS 47 and Fox 30. So we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you in a little bit on the TV side and on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Have a good one, everybody.